Thank you so much, and it's absolutely fantastic to be here, and especially to be here for the second time and seeing this event growing stronger and stronger. And this is fantastic and testament to how much work has gone into this, but also how much commitment there is to innovation, to transformation, and that is an absolutely fantastic experience to witness. So what we are going to talk about today is AI for sustainability, but also the sustainability of AI. And this is a really important point in my view. And the reason why this is important, and we've heard from IBM on ethics just now when it comes to artificial intelligence, is because over the last few years we've heard a lot of talk about how artificial intelligence can support sustainability and how artificial intelligence can help our countries, our community to become more conscious, to respect the environment, to grow in the most sustainable way. And it is great to see here at LEAP and the DeepFest to see so much happening around sustainability and the use of technology to improve sustainability in the kingdom. And that is great and needs to be absolutely welcomed. But we also have to remember that if we want artificial intelligence to support sustainability, we have to look and research and invest on the other side of the coin, which is when artificial intelligence, and not just artificial intelligence, but technologies more in general, actually can be themselves detrimental to the environment. And therefore, if we really want to innovate with AI, we need to make sure that we have both AI for sustainability and also sustainable AI. And this is what I will be discussing in the next 20 minutes. So first of all, we're going to look at why we need to talk about this. So this is a key message that I would absolutely be delighted if you were to take on board. Why we need to talk about both AI for sustainability, but also sustainable artificial intelligence. Then we'll be looking at what is sustainability, what does that mean, and why does it matter? And then we'll be looking at example of AI for sustainability, but also examples of when artificial intelligence consumed way too much. And then we will be looking at a pathway, a strategy for 5 steps for sustainable artificial intelligence. And so what are the dimensions of sustainability? When we talk about sustainability in technology, and you know this because you live and breathe technology in your kingdom, and you live and breathe technology in everything that you do. So first of all is the individual sustainability. You want to use your apps, you want to do digital services because they make you feel better as an individual. Because you feel that your data is protected from a cybersecurity standpoint. So the data is not leaked, the data is there, is protected. But also because it gives you autonomy and freedom to operate in the digital world as much as in the physical world. Then you have a social dimension, which is sustainability in technology and of technologies, which means that you are part of a community, you're part of your environment, and you feel your citizenship as part of your environment, and technology is sustainable because it enables you to be fully a citizen. And that is, for example, the sustainability that I'm seeing when I look at the enormous development that you are in progress that is happening here in for example, the administrative state and all the services that are provided to you. Then there is an economic dimension, which is sustainability of technologies in terms of can we invest and can we get a return from investment? Is there a sustainable and a viability, an economic viability for all the technologies that we are producing? Then we're looking at a technical dimension, and this is where issues such as privacy, data protection come in. And privacy, not just as something which is individual, but in terms of a collective value, that means that if your financial information, if your very personal data by yourself are shared, they're not leaked, your identity is not taken. And that is my job. I work in cybersecurity and in privacy. But what I wanted to look at today is the environmental dimension. It means, are the technologies sustainable enough to improve our environment, not to corrupt it, and to make sure that we leave a good environment for our children and for our future? So when it comes to the individual, the economic dimension, there is a lot of talk about it already. You've heard a lot of considerations and talks just now from IBM around ethics, for example. What does it mean to embed ethical values, your values, into the technology that you produce and you create and you implement? We've heard a lot of stuff about artificial intelligence, algorithmic decision making, discriminating, for example, because artificial intelligence systems, they use historic data. And when these data are fed into machines, what happens sometimes, if things are done in a way that is not critical, what happens is sometimes they reproduce the stereotypes and things that we've got in society. But we haven't talked much about the environment. We haven't talked about when artificial intelligence is good or bad for the environment. And I want to start with the good. Because what I would like to see more and more is I would like to see artificial intelligence being used to improve the environment we live in. And I just wanted to give you some examples. For example, Google using an AI model to reduce the energy load of the data centers, reducing the energy cost of cooling by 40%. This is good. This is a good example of good use of AI. Then IBM using AI for better weather forecasting. Sadly, we've just heard the terrible news of an earthquake. AI can, and all my condolences to all the people there, victim there. But what I'm saying is AI can be used to forecast. AI can be used to prevent, to be there, to make sure that we've got the right resources in the right place. AI can be used for the environment. I've been part of fabulous projects around, for example, distribution of energy in the grid, and how AI can really support that. But AI can use, for example, to predict energy consumption and boosting efficiency, and all of that is absolutely relevant and important. And finally, we can use the carbon tracker. That is, the carbon tracker is a climate activist advocacy think tank, and uses AI to track emissions from coal plants using satellite imagery. So these are examples of where artificial intelligence is helping the environment. It's helping create a better and more sustainable environment in terms of efficiency, and this is a direction of travel that we absolutely need to embrace. But AI can have a negative impact as well. And we've got to be careful, because if we want to innovate and grow as countries with artificial intelligence, we have to embrace the opportunity, build on the opportunity, but also reduce the risks. So, for example, we have electronic waste, the obsolescence of the products that we use. And the more we innovate, the more we buy products. And when we buy a lot of products, the more it means that this product gets obsolete. And that is an issue for our environment. Then we have design faults, design for limited repair, design aesthetics and technology obsolescence, and we are seeing this in a lot of products that are being developed. So, for example, North America at the moment, over 100 million cell phones and 300 million personal computers are discarded every single year due to an acceleration of technology. That is not good for the environment, is it? And then we have the depletion of natural resources. So, for example, the mining robots and the impact that they have on the environment. In data extraction as well, I mean, you know how much data is collected at every point of our life. A recent research that came out just yesterday, and you can read about it in the New York Times, shows that only 20% of the data that we collect globally is used. But all this data is somewhere. The energy to collect, the energy to retain, there is a lot of energy that is out there. I just wanted to put this quote on because it's written by an academic from Sydney University, and one of the few voices that I've heard really making a case around the sustainability of artificial intelligence, the global supply chain, and impact that it can have on the environment. And I just wanted to leave it there to show you that if we want to start tackling and continue to tackle the climate emergencies, we must also solve the problems, the environmental problems around artificial intelligence. So let's look at the actual impact of AI on the environment. So first of all, the technology industry is estimated to be responsible for 3.54% of global greenhouse gas emissions. And the predictions are that artificial intelligence may potentially consume 1/10 of the world electricity by 2025. And it's been really interesting that during the pandemic, when all flights stopped and we all were locked in our homes, and it's been a terrible time for everyone, we thought the energy consumption, the environment is going to get better because there'll be much less flights, much less planes, much less movement. Nevertheless, that didn't happen. And it didn't happen because the increase in connectivity, the increase of use of the way that we were locked in at all times of our day, that also produced a lot of pollution. So this is really important. If we look at GPT-3, for example, everybody's talking about GPT-3 and soon GPT-4, which is really exciting, and has a capacity of 175 billion machine learning parameters and was trained on 5 billion words. And if you look at the carbon emissions during the training, they were massive. You're training a lot of data, and if you think about that, if GPT-3 have a capacity of 175 billion machine learning parameters, when it comes to GPT-3-4, we are talking about 400 million. So can you imagine, the energy that it takes to consume all of this? And if you, can you hear me? Yes. So if you think about, and as I was mentioning earlier, a recent study found that going remote has led the global carbon footprint to grow by 34.3 million. And this is what we were discussing just now when we were looking at what happened when we all went remote. We all started to work from home. So over the recent times, I've been working a lot on privacy by design. And one of the key questions I've been asking myself is, can privacy by design, can approach that is aimed to minimize the impact of the importance of privacy in the design at the onset of any product development that we do, can that help when it comes to tackling the negative impact of artificial intelligence? And I've been looking into this because what's been happening over recent times is that privacy by design has become more and more important. And by the way, there is ISO standards now, the first ISO standards on privacy by design. They've just been launched. Sorry, just one moment. This is for... Thank you so much. So the recent ISO standards keeps falling. The recent ISO standards in privacy by design, but it keeps falling. I can hold it. It's okay. So don't worry. So for example, at Wipro, we've established a Privacy by Design Center of Excellence, which is basically a privacy by design resource that is available to everybody who works with our clients, with everybody who creates solutions, and for everyone on us internally when it comes to, for example, creating a metaverse, when it comes to artificial intelligence, so that people can access all possible resources around privacy by design. And I've been wondering over recent times, issues like data minimization, using smart data rather than really a lot of data as we keep doing, because we still live under the idea that we need a lot of data, and we certainly do need a lot of data, but we can also do a smarter use of data, so that and how that can really support a more sustainable artificial intelligence moving forward. So as you know, the principles of artificial intelligence, privacy by design, are the idea that privacy is embedded into the design of what we do, the idea that it's proactive and is not reactive, that is by default, it's about end-to-end security, and it's about visibility and transparency and respect for user privacy, so it's user-centric. So what I've been working on a lot with the team recently is, can privacy, and what I mean by privacy is the respect for the personal information of individuals, say it's health data, say it's financial information, the things that if they are missed, if they're misused, they can have a serious impact on your life. They can have a serious impact on your identity. So can privacy, together with ESG, together with the corporate responsibility, together with environmental protection, can we work together to ensure that a privacy by design approach can support a better and more sustainable artificial intelligence? Can the embracing of all these principles, can they together help us create more sustainable technologies in the way that sustainability affects so many areas of our life? So for example, the use of smart data, starting to use synthetic data where it's possible, and navigating the trade-off between usability and privacy and sustainability. And that combination between privacy and corporate responsibility is something that is really interesting and fascinating moving forward. So what I wanted to close off is to leave you with a step-by-step guide on how in the kingdom, in your companies, in your organizations, we can really reduce the footprint of artificial intelligence to ensure that we harness the values of these technologies, but at the same time, we minimize the impact on the environment. So first of all, is absolutely important to understand the issue. And what I would like to see is organizations as well as countries to really understand why we must do this and why we then we must put more research into this. And for example, how this can be done through funding companies that tackle emissions in data centers and business networks. And this is where I can see a role of government that embraces responsible innovation and awards and rewards companies that are able to put this at the forefront of what they're doing. The world needs to look at data centers and find ways to improve their energy efficiency. Emissions from data centers will fall if their electricity comes from a cleaner source. And this is something that is absolutely important, where we need more investment and more research moving forward. Earlier, we've heard about regulation of AI, and regulation of AI in a form or another is coming. For example, standards around artificial intelligence are being developed at global level. We have the ATU standards, IEEE standards, ISO standards. There is a lot of the CENELEC in Europe. The BSI in the UK, there is a lot of work doing into standards. But one thing that I feel is undermined when it comes to regulation and standards in AI is how countries can include in the laws and regulation the mandate to monitor the footprint of technologies, and how, for example, we can reward and award companies and products that minimize the impact on the environment, for example, in procurement exercises. Tackling e-waste. How are we able to tackle e-waste and make sure that we do not consume that much, to make sure that we do not create products that are faulty by design so they can last for longer? And that is very important at a time where e-waste is such a big component of the negative impact of technology on our world. And the number one is that we need to do much more to really tackle the issue of consumptions and transmissions. For example, Can we do more research in optimizing video streams and video games? For example, can we use clean coding? What technology can we put into place? Where can innovate to reduce the consumption, for example, in video streaming? And again, we need to look at how we move away from a model which is the pure extraction of data, which is very consuming, to something that really relies on the smarter use of data. And things like synthetic data can really help moving forward, not just from a privacy standpoint, but also from an environmental one. So I think it's really important that we focus on this. And I just wanted to leave you with this pathway moving forward that I'm hoping that companies, organizations, countries, governments can embrace. I am a great believer in artificial intelligence and how much artificial intelligence can do to improve efficiency, to create better well-being in other countries, to make sure that we live longer and better. But I also strongly believe that if we want to harness all this potential, we need to ensure that we are able to minimize the risks, and that happens from an ethical perspective, from a privacy standpoint, from a cybersecurity standpoint, but also from an environmental standpoint. Because AI is also, and new technologies in general, they're also capable of polluting. So I really hope to see, maybe next year a LEAP, maybe the next conferences we meet up, a lot of research going into this, and a lot of recognition given to companies that are really able to innovate whilst at the same time minimizing the impact on the environment. I think this is a challenge that we must relish, and I'm glad to see sustainability, greenery, and the importance of our environment so crucial here at LEAP this year. Thank you.